News Now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight on Connecticut's news station, we're following breaking news out of Vernon, where an 11-year-old was hit by a car. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Samaya Hernandez. That 11-year-old is in the hospital and is now recovering. Fox 61's Jake Garcia was at the scene and joins us now live from Vernon with the latest on the investigation. Hi, Jake.
Hi, Samaya. Vernon police say just after 5 o'clock this afternoon, an 11-year-old girl was hit in the 100 block of Prospect Street. Officers say she was taken to Connecticut Children's Medical Center with serious injuries. Now, here's what the scene looked like when we arrived on scene this afternoon. You can see police focusing on the red Chevy Impala as part of the investigation. Police say the driver involved stopped and is cooperating. Investigators also focused around an ice cream truck that was on the scene as well. Officers from the Metro Traffic Service are investigating. That unit has officers from Vernon, Manchester, and Enfield police departments. Officials have not released many details about what happened or the girl's condition. Neighbors tell us that they're concerned with the amount of drivers who speed down this area of Prospect Street.
You know, these cars are constantly going super fast. Yeah. It's dangerous. There's a lot of kids over here, and it's devastating what happened. I couldn't see it because I would never get that image out of my head. That's my worst fear.
Whether she's 11 or 80, still somebody got hit by a car. It's somebody's kid. The person who hit the kid, them too, they're human. You know, I'm sure they didn't go out today figuring out they're going to hit somebody, but if they're speeding around an ice cream truck, you can expect to hit somebody.
Now, police have yet to say if speed was a factor in this incident. Investigators were taking measurements and pictures and video, even using a drone at the scene for accident reconstruction. As officers were clearing the scene, the ice cream truck was able to drive away, but that red Chevy Impala was towed from the scene. Now, once again, police not releasing many details about what happened or the girl's condition tonight. Now, the Prospect Street from Oak to Bailey was closed for several hours as police continued their investigation, but that has since reopened. We'll bring you any updates as they become available. For now, we're live in Vernon. Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Jake. And we're following developing news out of Westport, where a motorcyclist is dead after a crash on I-95 northbound this morning. Police say Frank Brown of Waterbury was driving the motorcycle near exit 18 when he rear-ended a car that was in front of him. Brown lost control and hit a barrier, causing him to be thrown from the bike. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. No one in the car was hurt. And an update now, we've learned that the man that was taken into custody after an hours-long standoff in Bristol has allegedly made anti-Catholic bias threats against staff at 2 Farmington churches. Bristol police tell us they were attempting to serve an arrest warrant for 41-year-old Michael Pickering at a home on Woodbine Street. He allegedly made threats towards St. Mary's and St. Patrick's churches. Pickering told officers he would not come out of his home peacefully, and police eventually had to get tear gas to get him outside. The incident shaking up neighbors.
No one really bothers nobody here. You could walk around and say hi to people, and it's pretty safe. To know that you have that around you, you have to be more aware of your surroundings, but Bristol did very good, and all the people here were very mindful, and they made sure they kept us at a distance where we were safe.
No one was injured during the incident. Pickering is being held by Farmington police on a $250,000 bond. A man police say was involved in a January crash that killed a teen and his grandfather in Winchester was taken into custody in Florida. Police say 24-year-old Glenn Ragan is being held for extradition back here to Connecticut. Ragan is accused of driving into the opposite lane to pass a box truck on Route 44. That was back in January on the 31st when he crashed into an oncoming car. 16-year-old Marcus Rogers and 84-year-old William O'Leary died in that crash. And a teen has been charged in connection to a fatal stabbing that happened outside of an East Haven school. That was back in May. Police say they arrested a 15-year-old for allegedly stabbing 15-year-old Dustin Securely to death on the grounds of Tuttle Elementary School on May 23rd. The suspect's name has not been released due to his age. Police say in a statement that they hope that the arrest is the beginning of the healing process for Dustin's family. And the Department of Justice has taken over the investigation into the Connecticut State Police ticket scandal. Last month, an audit was published that found that more than 25,000 traffic tickets written by Connecticut State Police troopers may have been falsified, skewing racial data. The Chief State's Attorney's Office has confirmed that the DOJ is now investigating. The tickets in question were alleged to have been issued between 2014 and 2021. Special counsel Jack Smith is asking a federal judge to quickly set new rules in the January 6th case against former President Donald Trump. Smith cited social media posts made by the former president as part of the reasoning behind the request. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson has those details.
We need one more indictment to close out this election. One more indictment, and this election is closed out.
Less than a day after his latest court appearance, former President Donald Trump on the campaign trail, attempting to use his legal troubles to advance in the 2024 race for the White House. Now, special counsel Jack Smith's office is requesting a protective court order limiting what the former president can share to the public about the election case against him. Prosecutors citing his Truth Social post made by Trump where he wrote, quote, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." Smith claiming statements like this could impact witnesses and that the case itself could be compromised if Trump continues to post about it, saying, quote, "Such a restriction is particularly important in this case because the defendant has previously issued public statements on social media regarding witnesses, judges, attorneys, and others associated with legal matters pending against him." All of this playing out just hours after Trump pleaded not guilty to his third indictment in 4 months. His support continues to grow within the Republican Party.
Every one of these events makes President Trump more popular because the Republican Party is a party of very nice people, and they feel sorry for President Trump, and they galvanize around him whenever they see him treated so obviously unfairly.
President Biden has been on vacation here in Delaware over the past week and has stayed silent on the charges against Trump. But that could change when he returns to Washington. In Wilmington, Delaware, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Turning to the weather now, it was a beautiful start to the weekend, and meteorologist Ryan Breton, fresh back from vacation, here with us to tell us what the rest of the weekend is going to look like. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Samaya, nice to be with you on a Saturday night on a beautiful weekend, too. Just a few clouds coming through tonight, but no rain falling out of any of these clouds. They're mostly of the high thin variety, and these will be thinning out as we get toward morning. It's still pretty mild out there tonight, too. 73 in Hartford, 77 in New Haven. We do have some 60s, though, in outlying areas, and by morning, some of the coolest spots, especially in the hills of northeast and northwest Connecticut, may dip into the 50s since we don't have much moisture or humidity in the air. The air is pretty dry in those places. Elsewhere, low temperatures tonight will generally be in the low to mid 60s. Beauty of a day ahead tomorrow. We're going 2 for 2 this weekend. A mostly sunny sky, a few clouds coming in during the afternoon. Morning temperatures rising through the 60s and 70s. We'll end up in the mid 80s tomorrow afternoon. And I think we have a dry day on Sunday. There may be some showers developing after midnight tomorrow night, and that likely leads to some wet weather for both Monday and Tuesday. We'll go through the timeline on that and have a lot more in the 7-day forecast coming up.
More and more people in Connecticut are experiencing homelessness. That's according to a new report that says that for the second year in a row, homelessness is increasing in our state. Fox 61's Gabby Molina spoke to advocates about that report.
On a single night in January, 3,015 people in Connecticut were without a home, a nearly 3% increase from the previous year, marking 2 years in a row that the amount of people experiencing homelessness has gone up.
We're seeing more people than ever just not have the resources to sustain.
The Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness says the point in time count is a federally mandated annual survey of how many people are experiencing homelessness in one night at the beginning of the year. CEO Sarah Fox says it's typically a much lower count than what the reality is.
Historically, our numbers are always higher. annually and just daily than what's reflected in the point in time count.
She points to a few different reasons why the increase is happening. One being the end of pandemic relief, another being a lack of affordable housing.
Housing is a huge issue here in Connecticut. The lack of affordable housing it's the case all across the state in every single community.
Luke Milanakos Harrison with the Connecticut Tenants Union says the increase in homelessness does not come as a surprise to advocates.
When shelters are full, when folks can't double up with family, when those financial margins are just too narrow, unfortunately, some people will end up unsheltered outside, which should outrage all of us.
Advocates say reaching solutions will take a unified effort.
We are a better, stronger state if people and families are housed in every community across the state.
And that was Gabby Molina reporting. The Connecticut Coalition is also calling for more funding to address the problem. Right now, the CEO says one of their biggest concerns are the winter months because they don't have the resources to respond. And hundreds of kids came out to Southington this morning to compete in the Race for Chase to honor Sandy Hook school shooting victim Chase Kowalski. He was just 7 years old when he died and had a love for running. So in his honor, his parents formed a foundation that gives grants to 19 regional YMCAs and community centers to hold free 6-week camps for children where they receive training to be triathletes. And in the final day of camp, all the kids got to come together to race for Chase.
It's bittersweet. I wish Chase was here, but we have continued his legacy. His spirit is always here with us. It's with the kids, and they've grown to love him, which has been really sweet for us.
And this is the 10th year that Race for Chase has taken place.